Hey, hi, I'm Dan. I'm a sailor and a wannabe boat builder. And I'm putting together a Riverton Duster, which was built in 1933 for racing on the Delaware River in Riverton, New Jersey, which is where we sail the Gossamer Penguin. I want to bring them back. I want wooden dusters floating on the Delaware again, and if I want to do that, well, I'm gonna have to build one, so that's what I'm doing. I have put together all of the plywood molds for bending the shape of the boat, and now I need to scarf together some 2x6s that are going to be my strong back. This is the long, straight, level sort of structure that the molds are going to go on, and then everything's going to be bent around. So I'm going to scarf some planks today. Never done this before. We're going to see what happens. Yeah, let's go. Okay. So what we're doing is we're going to cut each of these on an angle like this so we can flip them over and glue them together. We need a nice, okay, so in the worst case, if I took end to end and stuck it together, we'd only have like this many square inches. What is that? I don't know. I'm not going to do the math right now. We only have this many square inches. But if we cut them on an angle like this, we've got this great big square on an angle, and then the other angle flaps right down on top of it, and then we've got this great big fat gluing surface so that all this glue can get in there and do its thing. If you ask 10 woodworkers, especially boat builders, what the optimal angle is to do a scarf, you will get 12 different answers. Because these are going straight, and they're not going to be bent around any frames or anything. These are made to be straight-ish, as straight as I can make them. I'm just doing a 6-to-1, which seems to be sort of like the happy middle ground that everyone's like, you start at 6-to-1, and if it breaks, you fix it. I don't expect these to break because they're not going to be undergoing a whole lot of force. So these are nominally 1.5 inches. So I'm going to come in 6 times 1.5 inches. I haven't done that math yet. And then I'm going to draw that line. I'm going to put the next one up, and the next one, and the next one. I'm going to make this little staircase, and then I'm going to just make one big, long, smooth, flat surface right here, and that will mean that all of my boards have good gluing surfaces. Next thing to consider is the way the grain goes. If the grain veers off one way or another, you want to follow it, so you want long, straight grain touching each other. You don't want end grain. And my neighbor's running their lawnmower, so I'm going to stop talking. Okay, so it turns out that 9 times 1.5 is 6. Wait, 6 times 1.5 is 9. There we go. So I've marked everything off at 9 inches, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up each board in succession. I'm going to drive just a couple of screws through them just to make sure that nothing shifts while I'm doing all my planing. I'm going to be using the power planer to knock off the big stuff, and then once it's pretty close to good, I'm probably going to pull out one of my big jack planes and try and knock it down as flat as I can. Okay, so I got these 4 all stacked up, and you can see that I'm going to wind up pulling off these really fine sort of angles off of these things. This is going to end up going from this line right here all the way down to the bottom corner of the bottom plank. So I've got a lot of smoothing to do, yeah, I'm going to get to it. get some earplugs. Oh. Oh good, it's just paper. I thought there were staples in the end of the thing and I forgot about them. Didn't. Good. Alright, so I think it's getting there. Yeah, so I'm just kind of like hogging it out, like big angry strokes like that. And then when it starts getting close, I'm starting to go straight down. You can maybe see, I'm pulling these big angry cuts right now. But as I get closer, I'm going to back it off and start taking off smaller cuts, and eventually I'll move down to a jack plane and hopefully pull off, curls. All right, keep going. Well, or I could do that. That was, hang on, we gotta unplug that. Oh, okay. Well, that was spectacular. So, let me show you what I just did like an idiot. In all of my yanking around of the power planer, I managed to get the cord caught in the planer. So, it's really in there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to back it out and, I don't know, splice the cord up, but, wow, yeah, so today's lesson is, I guess, be really, really aware of where your power cord is, and don't be a mad ape when you're trying to do stuff, because yeah, you end up doing that. I don't know if we'll have the footage. Hope we do, because it'll be super fun to watch. But yeah, it just kind of went foop on me, and I still got power over there, so I'm guessing I didn't blow a breaker, which is kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's alarming or what, but yeah, I guess I'm doing this by hand now because I don't have a power planer anymore. Bummer. Hey y'all, guess what? It lives. It might have mangled the blades, the irons, whatever you call them, a little bit, but it'll be okay enough, I think, for hogging stuff out. I'm not going to be making any tabletops anytime soon with the thing. But yeah, I repaired the cord. We're going to pretend that never happened. No, we're not. There's a lesson to be learned here. Mind your cord. And yeah, we're going to get back to it. Here we go. So I made some sawdust. I was wearing my mask. And it's getting there. Like, it looks pretty flat. It looks pretty, I don't know, angly. But now I'm going to pull out a jack plane. I'm going to pull the earplugs out of my head, and I'm just going to start smoothing it down until it's as, I don't know, sharp as I can get it, I guess. And then it'll be ready to glue, I guess. So yeah, here we go, jack plane. Pulling up curls. That's good, I guess. I feel like I didn't get up close enough to this line. Still some, like, see, you're supposed to, when you sharpen your irons, you're supposed to sort of like give a little angle on either side. That's supposed to help keep it from digging gouges on the edges when you're like in the middle of a big piece. Never really did that. And guess what? Seems like I'm digging gouges in the middle of a big piece. Who'd have thunk? Guess I'll try that. Hand plane is so much less anxious than the power plane now. It's thing's loud, and it eats itself apparently. Throws crap in the air, and much rather be doing this. Sneak it right up to that pencil line. And what you're looking for is for these lines to be straight. So like this one's up here, but down here, so I need to concentrate on this side. Well, it's the same all over the place, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to stay over on this side until things even up a little bit. And again, end of the day, this isn't boat parts. This is just a strong back. So if the scarves aren't super, look at that, super strong, then scarves aren't super strong. It's not a huge deal. Good for practice for the first time, you know? So I cut the scarves down to a point where I'm pretty satisfied with them. Someone tell me what I'm doing wrong, because, well, by the time you see this, it's too late. I'm going to pull these guys apart and then sweep up the garage because it is a disaster. Yeah, I basically just took two 9-inch long hunks of 2x6 and exploded them into sawdust and shavings, and now it's all over my garage floor. I'm going to, yeah, pull these apart and then clean up and then lay these things out on the garage floor and glue. I'm going to glue these together. I'm going to put something heavy on them. And yeah, scarves. So hold up, be right back. So that is what scarfing to 4x6, two 2x6s looks like. That's a lot of stuff. Okay, I can hear some of you asking, why are you scarfing together a bunch of 8-foot 2x6s anyway? Why don't you just get a 16-footer? Couple answers for that. Number one, an 8-footer is about the only thing I can fit in my car. I've got a coupe and a sedan. I don't have a truck. So yeah, it's a tight squeeze to get just an 8-footer into a car of mine. Second, I'm working mostly at the home center, you know, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. And the 8-footers tend to be a lot straighter than the 16s. The 16s, they go like this. So instead of hunting through their stacks for two straight 16-footers and then getting them home somehow, I don't know, on top of my coupe, I'd rather get 4 8-footers and play with my planes, because that is so much more fun. And yeah, now I know how to do a scarf joint. Well, maybe, we'll see. I'm gonna go get the glue and some weights and some other stuff, and I'll be right back. Touching. Right on top. All right. See what happens. Okay, so it's later, and we're gonna go take a look at the scarves. We'll see if they stuck, see if my weight was enough, see if my planing was sufficient. And did you catch that? I bet you caught that. I missed putting the wax paper down on the top of the thing, but I think my weight was far enough over that I didn't glue the board to my scarves. That board that I was using to press things down. I'm looking at it now and I can see the joints, and I think we're safe. So yeah, let's go take a look. Moment of truth. Stuck to the floor. Oh. Could have been a little bit better, I guess. Oh, that one's solid. That one's less so. Flip if you see how that sounds. Yeah. Alright, so let's get a little bit closer here. Okay, so this one came out pretty solid. Like, the grain is running right into each other, and there's not a great big gap. I'm going to need to do a little bit of planing. Actually, no, I don't. This isn't going to be furniture. This is a strong back. This one, however, I don't know if you can see, there's a pretty serious gap between those two boards, and it runs all the way through. I might just punch a couple screws through and call it a day. This was mostly for practice anyway. I could have used butt blocks. I could have done any of a number of things, but I just kind of wanted to give this a shot. I need to check a little bit more carefully for cupping, which is what I'm guessing happened here, and probably be a little bit more conscientious about the weight and or clamping that I do. If I clamped this instead of just stacking a weight on top, it probably would have closed up and glued up better. So there we have it. One good scarf, one kind of icky scarf that I'm just gonna stick some screws through and call that done. I guess I learned a couple of things. You know, clamping is better than waiting. Be a little bit more serious about checking for cupping in your pieces. You don't want to be, from what I've read, you don't want it to be like perfect, deadly flat. You want just a tiniest bit of cup there, just so that you can be sure that there's glue on the inside, so it doesn't all squeeze out. But I'm really happy with one, not so happy with two. I'm 1 and 1 for scarf joints. I'm going to call it a 50% success rate, and as I do more, hopefully I'll get better. The next things that I'm going to end up scarfing together are going to be much smaller. It's going to be my chine log, it's going to be my shear clamp, and my plywood boards eventually. I'm going to have to scarf together some 8-footers to make some 14-footers. I'm going to put these somewhere. I'm not sure where I'm going to put 2 16-footers in my garage. I'll catch you on the next one. Maybe next time we'll be assembling a strongback or some guides for our transoms, some more plywood lofting and drawing. So yeah, clean up after yourself and catch you later.